Chapter 3. The Fourth Passenger. The rainforest looked endless from above. Larissa Mendes had flown survey routes over the Amazon for nearly 3 years, yet the canopy still unsettled her in ways she could never properly explain. It did not resemble ordinary wilderness from the air. Forests elsewhere appeared alive. The Amazon appeared aware. 37 meters below the aircraft, layers of green folded over one another like overlapping scales, concealing nearly everything beneath them. Entire civilizations could vanish under that much growth. Rivers, villages, roads, graves. Sometimes, when the afternoon clouds rolled low enough across the upper canopy, the forest looked less like terrain and more like something breathing beneath fabric. Larissa adjusted her headset and glanced toward the cockpit. "How much farther?" The pilot checked the coordinates. 8 minutes. Beside Larissa, Isabella Navarro continued studying the imaging tablet balanced across her knees. Streams of topographic data rolled endlessly across the screen, interrupted every few seconds by static interference. "Signal degradation again," Isabella muttered. "Storm activity?" "No storms." The answer bothered both of them. The aircraft belonged to a contracted survey team funded through EMFI, the Earth Mapping Foundation Independent, an organization publicly devoted to environmental imaging and terrain recovery. Unofficially, most employees understood that military agencies quietly piggybacked onto nearly every expedition. The rainforest hid things governments disliked not seeing. Today's mission was simple: locate possible canopy openings invisible to commercial satellite systems and record GPS coordinates for later analysis. Simple missions paid well. Simple missions also tended to become complicated over the Amazon. The pilot lowered the aircraft slightly. Clouds drifted past the windows in pale ribbons. Larissa glanced behind her toward the rear seats. 2 Americans sat near the equipment cases discussing archaeological survey possibilities, while the Brazilian co-pilot reviewed fuel calculations. The conversations blended together beneath the steady drone of the engines. 4 passengers, 6 souls total on board. At least, that was what Larissa remembered later. What official records would insist was impossible. A sudden burst of static shrieked through everyone's headsets. The pilot cursed softly. What the hell was that? The radio continued crackling. Then, beneath the distortion, a voice whispered something faint and fragmented. "Found." The co-pilot adjusted frequencies rapidly. "Interference from Manaus Tower, maybe?" But Larissa already knew the transmission had not come from a radio tower, because the voice sounded close, too close, as though someone inside the aircraft had spoken directly into her ear. Isabella looked up slowly from her tablet. "You heard that too?" Before Larissa could answer, the instruments dimmed briefly. Not shut down, dimmed, like lights beneath deep water. The navigation screen glitched violently. Coordinates scrambled. Altitude fluctuated. And for one impossible second, the digital timestamp displayed 8 hours, 64 minutes, 87 seconds. Then corrected itself instantly. The co-pilot frowned. "That's not possible." The pilot laughed nervously. "Apparently it is." Nobody else laughed. Outside the windows, the forest canopy shifted. Larissa blinked hard. No, not shifted. Opened. A dark, geometric space emerged far below the aircraft, where endless green should have remained unbroken. Perfect edges. Impossible symmetry. The opening looked less like a sinkhole and more like an absence cut directly into reality. "What is that?" Isabella whispered. The Americans leaned forward immediately. The pilot lowered altitude another 20 meters. Bad decision. Larissa knew it instantly. The moment the aircraft descended, the smell hit them. Lavender. Soft at first, then overwhelming. Not perfume, not flowers. Something older, something wet. The cabin lights flickered. The co-pilot grabbed his headset suddenly. "You hearing that?" At first, Larissa thought the sound came from the failing engines. Then she realized it resembled whispering, hundreds of overlapping whispers, not outside the plane, inside it. The temperature dropped sharply. Frost crept briefly across the corners of the windshield before vanishing again. The pilot pulled back on the controls. "We're leaving!" No one argued. The forest below darkened unnaturally fast as clouds swallowed the remaining sunlight. Then came the blue flash. A pulse of radiance erupted upward from the opening beneath the canopy, illuminating the entire cabin in cold electric color. Everyone screamed, not from fear, from pain. Larissa dropped to her knees as pressure exploded behind her eyes. It felt as though invisible fingers were forcing themselves into her skull, searching through memories that did not belong to them. Around her, the others convulsed violently.